Palestine is located in the Middle East, between the Mediterranean Sea in the west and the Jordan River in the east. Borders with Israel in the north and east and with Egypt in the southwest. Its geographical position is crucial for many political and geopolitical dynamics in the region. Palestine has a variety of natural resources, including fertile land suitable for agriculture, as well as rich natural resources such as oil, natural gas, phosphates and minerals such as salt and clay. Also, there are coasts along the Mediterranean Sea that are important for fishing and tourism. However, access and management of these resources are often the subject of political disputes in the region. Tourism in Palestine mainly focuses on religious and cultural destinations. Some of the most famous tourist attractions include the Old City of Jerusalem with religious sites such as the Temple of the Sepulchre, the Wailing Wall and the Church of the Holy Sepulchre. Masada, the Dead Sea and the city of Bethlehem, the birthplace of Jesus Christ, are also popular destinations. Apart from religious tourism, tourists can enjoy natural beauty such as the Judean and Negev deserts. However, the political situation can affect tourism in the region. The politics of Palestine is complex and encompasses many political, social and economic dynamics. Key political issues include the Israeli-Palestinian conflict, the quest for national recognition and independence, internal political divisions between the authorities in the West Bank, Fatah, and Gaza, Hamas, and the issue of the occupation of the territories. Also, Palestine faces challenges such as economic sustainability, access to resources, migration and refugees. International factors, including the role of the US, the UN and other countries, also play an important role in political developments in Palestine.
Palestina je bila poprište mnogih sukoba tijekom
Palestine has been the scene of many conflicts throughout its history. One of the most famous and long-lasting conflicts is the Israeli-Arab conflict that began with the formation of the State of Israel in 1948. During that conflict, which is often called the First Arab-Israeli War, Israel conquered parts of the territories that should have belonged to Palestine according to the UN partition plan. This was followed by other Arab-Israeli wars, including the Six-Day War in 1967 and the Yom Kippur War in 1973, which further shaped the territorial boundaries and dynamics of the conflict. Also, within Palestinian society itself, there have been various political divisions and conflicts, including the civil war between Fatah and Hamas in 2007. Which resulted in the division of administration between the West Bank and Gaza. In addition, Palestine has been under various governments and occupations throughout its history, including Roman, Ottoman and British rule, which has also shaped its history of conflict. Palestine has a long and complex history that goes back thousands of years. The area of Palestine was home to many ancient civilizations, including the Canaanites, Philistines, Israelites, Assyrians, Babylonians, Persians, Greeks, Romans, and many others. After the Roman conquest, Palestine was under various rulers, including Byzantine, Arab, Crusader, Ottoman and British. The modern history of Palestine becomes important with the end of the First World War, when the Allies, after the collapse of the Ottoman Empire, created the Mandate of Palestine under British rule. This era was marked by growing conflicts between the Jewish and Arab communities in the region, which culminated in the partition of the country and the creation of the State of Israel in 1948. The UN decision on the partition of Palestine in 1947 envisaged the creation of a Jewish and an Arab state. However, Arab countries rejected this plan, leading to the Israeli-Arab War of 1948, after which Israel declared independence. This event resulted in the exodus of hundreds of thousands of Palestinians and laid the foundations for a long-term conflict between Israel and Palestine. Since then, the question of Palestine has remained one of the most controversial and complex in international politics. Palestine maintains diplomatic relations with various world states, including some Arab and European countries, as well as African, Asian and Latin American countries. Some examples of countries with which Palestine maintains good relations include Egypt, Jordan, Saudi Arabia, Qatar, Turkey, Russia, China, South Africa, Brazil and many others. These relationships often stem from political solidarity, historical ties, economic interests or support for the Palestinian struggle for recognition, independence and a solution to the Israeli-Palestinian conflict. Some of these relationships may also be a consequence of geopolitical interests or strategies of individual states in the region. Palestine does not have good relations with several countries, especially those that are closely related to Israel or support Israeli policies. Examples of such countries include the United States of America, which has traditionally been close to Israel and has often supported Israeli policies at the UN and elsewhere. Also, Palestine does not have good relations with Israel. Considering the long-term Israeli-Palestinian conflict, the issue of the occupation of the territories and other disagreements. Although there have been occasional negotiations between the two sides, political and territorial disputes remain unresolved, making it difficult to build good relations. In addition, relations with some Arab countries may vary depending on political circumstances. For example, some Arab countries have established diplomatic relations with Israel, which can lead to tensions with the Palestinians. All these dynamics affect different levels of Palestine's relations with other countries. population of Palestine is difficult to determine precisely due to political and territorial disputes, but it is estimated to be between 5 and 6 million people. The majority of the population is made up of Arabs, mainly Palestinians, who are predominantly Muslim, but there are also minorities of Christians, Druze and other religious communities. Islam is the dominant religion in Palestine, with the majority of Muslims following Sunni Islam. There are also smaller communities of Shia Muslims, especially in Gaza, as well as other smaller sects and Islamic groups. Christians make up a smaller part of the population, but are present in several communities throughout Palestine, especially in cities such as Bethlehem, Nazareth and Jerusalem. The Druze are also present in several communities throughout Palestine, especially in cities such as Bethlehem, Nazareth and Jerusalem. The Druze are also present, mainly in the northern parts of the country, while smaller communities of Yazidis and other religions are also present, although in smaller numbers. Palestine faces various trade challenges due to political, territorial and economic restrictions. Exports and imports are restricted due to Israeli border control, as well as movement restrictions imposed on Palestinians. In terms of exports, Palestine mainly exports agricultural products such as olive oil, citrus fruits, dates and textiles. However, these exports are limited, and some countries in the region, such as Israel, have a significant influence on the trade of the Palestinian Authority. As for imports, Palestine mainly imports food, fuel, medicines and other necessary products. Again, Israeli border control and movement restrictions have a significant impact on this trade. In addition, Palestine has a limited ability to establish trade agreements with other states due to its political limitations and lack of international recognition as a sovereign state. All this significantly affects the economic viability of Palestine. There was not one war between Israel and Palestine, but a series of conflicts and wars over the past decades. Key conflicts include the 1948 Israeli-Arab War, which resulted in the formation of the State of Israel and the exodus of hundreds of thousands of Palestinians, and the 1967 Six-Day War, in which Israel seized. There was not one war between Israel and Palestine, but a series of conflicts and wars over the past decades. Key conflicts include the 1948 Israeli-Arab War, which resulted in the formation of the State of Israel and the exodus of hundreds of thousands of Palestinians, and the 1967 Six-Day War, in which Israel seized territories including the West Bank, East Jerusalem and the Gaza Strip. The main cause of the conflict lies in a range of political, territorial, religious and economic factors, including rivalries over territory, national identities, access to water, borders and the presence of Israeli settlements in Palestinian territory. In addition, the issue of the right of return of refugees and refugee communities of the Palestinian people further complicates the situation. Conflicts between Israel and Palestine have had different phases and intensities over the years, including periods of intifadas, armed conflicts, terrorist attacks and peace negotiations. The international community has often tried to mediate in resolving this conflict, but no long-term solutions that would satisfy both sides have been reached. Palestine is supported by many countries around the world, with special emphasis on many Arab, African, Asian and Latin American countries. Some of Palestine's strongest allies in politics and the international arena include countries such as Egypt, Jordan, Saudi Arabia, Qatar, Turkey, Iran, Russia, China, South Africa, Brazil and many others. These countries support Palestine for various reasons, including political solidarity, historical ties, religious or ethnic ties, and support for the Palestinian struggle for recognition, independence and justice. Also, some countries support the Palestinians because of geopolitical interests or in response to Israeli policies and political decisions. Israel enjoys the support of several countries, primarily the United States of America, which has traditionally provided strong support to Israel. Apart from the USA, Israel also has the support of other Western countries, such as Canada, Great Britain, France, Germany and Australia. These countries support Israel for various reasons, including strategic, political, economic and military interests, as well as cultural and historical ties. Also, Israel often emphasizes its democratic values, technological innovation and cooperation in security matters as reasons for the support it receives from some countries. Ending the war between Israel and Palestine requires a complex and comprehensive approach that should include political, diplomatic, economic and social dimensions. Some of the steps Palestine can take to achieve peace include: 1. Negotiations and dialogue. Continuation of negotiations and dialogue with Israel in order to achieve a sustainable peaceful solution. This may include negotiations on borders, the status of Jerusalem, the right of return of refugees and other key issues. 2. International support. Continue to seek support from international organizations and states to ensure recognition and support for Palestinian independence and rights. 3. Institution building. Strengthening Palestinian institutions, rule of law and democratic processes to ensure stability and decision-making capacity. 4. Peaceful protests. Promoting peaceful forms of protest and resistance to draw attention to Palestinian rights and suffering and to ensure that the world community remains engaged in the issue of Palestinian autonomy. 5. Economic development. Promoting economic development, regional cooperation. Work on improving regional relations and cooperation with neighboring Arab countries in order to create a favorable environment for peace and stability. 7. Resolution of internal divisions. Continuation of reconciliation efforts between the various political parties within Palestine to ensure internal cohesion and unity in negotiations with Israel. These steps are complex and require the cooperation and engagement of all parties involved in the conflict. In addition, Israel needs to take steps towards peace, including halting the construction of settlements, lifting blockades and recognizing the right of the Palestinians to their own state.